Hey, I'm Adam Emerson.
And I'm Patrick Patton. We'll be introducing y'all to the Struers Lado Press 3 mounting press. Before using the mounting press, you must first have the fuse before the shaft will raise or you will be able to do any mounting. And the fuse goes in the side of the machine, put it in there, and it screws in the side right here. And you have to screw it really tight.
After the fuse is securely fastened in place, make sure you turn the knob right to the on power position. And you'll hear a beep like that. After you hear that beep and you see the light that says power, which is turned on, we are ready to mount the specimen. Before starting the mounting process, you'll need to have a number of things. These things are usually listed or in the drawer underneath the mounting press. First thing is the instruction manual, which will tell you everything that we're telling you, but in a written form. The second thing you need is a hot mounting guide, which will tell you just the amount of epoxy you'll need for mounting your sample. These two things are the rams, and we'll get to those here in just a minute. You'll need some non-stick powder, which will go onto the rams to keep the epoxy from sticking to the rams due to the heat. This is the epoxy right here. Usually the epoxy depends on what you use and how much you need. This is the funnel, which is usually located inside the epoxy case. And also inside the case we'll have a scoop. The scoop will have a measurement on the handle, which will also help you to keep up with the amount of epoxy you're putting into the machine.
Before mounting our samples, let's get familiar with the controls on the machine. We have 3 knobs here. One's for the cooling process, one's for the heating process, and one is for the force that the ram compresses our sample together for the actual mold. On the average, the cooling process is about 4 minutes, and then you just turn the dial. The heating process usually goes for about 7 minutes, and we usually use about 20 kilonewtons of force on the actual sample itself. Along with the heating, cooling, and force switch, there's also the on and off button. On located in green, off in the red. Directly to the left of that is the up and down arrow, and that is to raise the ram up and raise the ram down. And to the left of that is the temperature that we will be using. 180 degrees is what we have chosen. Also, there is 150 degrees. You can reference to the table that is located in the drawer below the press to get the actual temperature you will use with your type of mold.
As well as the temperature setting, the guide also tells you just the amount of resin to use, the type of heating, and the type of cooling to use. So you can also refer back to the guide to figure out what type and what quantity, how long for heating, and how long for cooling.
After we adjusted our switches correctly, we are ready to raise the ram on the press.
This is what the ram looks like when it's being raised. Once the ram has been raised to the top, make sure you have the platform of the ram in your hand. Now you can begin screwing the platform of the ram into the actual ram itself. This platform is actually going to hold as a base for the epoxy that you put into the ram.
Once the platform is tightly secured to the ram, we then apply an anti-stick powder to the top of the platform.
Today for our specimen we will be mounting a simple piece of iron.
The specimen is placed on the platform. We then are ready to lower the ram. We lower it about a ½ inch above the specimen from the lip of the cylinder.
After the base of the ram has been lowered and our specimen is secured, we are ready to add the epoxy. to the system. For this, we'll be using 20 milliliters of the black epoxy powder. Again, you can refer to the applications manual for the amount of epoxy to add for your specimen. So now I'll add 20 milliliters of black epoxy.
Once the epoxy has been added, you must level the surface off, and then you're ready to lower the ram. We lower the ram about another inch, and then we're ready to apply the top.
Before applying the top, we want to make sure that the ram is pushed down to its lower limit. So I'll do that now. Okay, the ram is now down to its lower limit. Now we are ready to apply the non-stick powder the same way we apply it to the lowering ram onto the top. After the non-stick powder has been applied, we are ready to apply the top. Be sure to screw the top all the way in down to its lower limit and get it semi-tight, and then back another quarter turn.
Once the top is applied, and before we push the start button, we must turn the water on for the cooling process to take place.
Once the water has been turned on, you are now ready to set the force, set the heating time, and set the heating temperature. You're also ready to set the cooling time. After all these adjustments have been made, all you have to do now is press the start button and the process will run automatically.
After starting the machine, it will go through the heating process first, and then it will go through a cooling process. When the cooling process is finished, the machine will cut off, and then you must turn the water off. And now we are ready to remove the sample.
For removing our sample, all we have left is to remove the top. So unscrew the top and you'll hear it click. Then you can just gently pull the top out and place it back into its place where it was. After you have replaced the top, all you have to do is hit the up on the ram until your specimen comes out of the machine. This is our finished result of the mounting press process. After you are finished using the mounting press, be sure to turn the machine off. Also, not forgetting the fuse. Be sure to unscrew the fuse and return it back to your professor.
Once again, my name is Patrick.
And my name is Adam.